This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
At Designer Shoe Warehouse, we believe that shoes are an important part of, well, everything.
From first steps to first dates, from all-nighters to all-time personal bests.
From building pillow forts to building a life.
For all the big and small moments that make up your whole world, DSW is there. And we've got just the shoes. Find a shoe for every you from brands you love at brag-worthy prices at your DSW store or DSW.com.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com. ODOO.com.
Hour, it's Nordo in for PA. Vikings-related conversation, minicamp in play. Alec Lewis of The Athletic is in studio. Josh Oliver in the news broke yesterday morning.
Yeah, happy Josh Oliver Day to you.
Yeah, 3 and 23 plus.
Nice,
19,
good if you can get it.
19 or so guaranteed, and maybe up to 27, 28 with some incentives there. But Josh Oliver, I played some audio. Aaron Jones talking about how, you know, it's the gritty, dirty work conversation of, you know, you don't necessarily see it in the stat lines, but he's paving the way to the run game. He's an extra O lineman effectively, but him paired with T.J. Hawkinson, those are your top two preferred tight ends. What do you think about the deal? And I can't say I'm necessarily shocked by it. You should never be shocked when you see an NFL player get some kind of deal with, you know, Rashad Bateman on a prolific running team's getting $36 million extension. So, you know, the money is the money, but they clearly, they fancy Josh Oliver in this system and what they plan to do.
Yeah, his contract was going to void after the year. And so now just made sense as the time to do that. You could adjust the K. He has a bunch of void or had a bunch of void years on the contract. So you do something now, you get to spread the money out over time. And they've really liked Josh. Before they brought him here for a reason. Now I remember after the 2022 year, they talked so much about wanting to improve the run game. And really the biggest move they made in trying to do that was signing Josh Oliver. Now, the folks listening to this will be like, yeah, well, what did that do for the run game? Well, we could talk about that. We could talk about what Alexander Madison did or didn't do. We could talk about the interior of the offensive line. But, I mean, Josh has played, close to 50% of the offensive snaps the last 2 years. He's been a pretty effective pass catcher. Like, I can't recall a ton of drops from him when he's had opportunities. Just he's played through injuries, a massive man, and then as a blocker, he legitimately is one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. He can really hold up against these edge rushers. So as this offense, tries to take the step to be the punishing, physical, trench, probably led offense that they've talked about it being, and that hopefully it will become, having a guy like him who can displace defenders from the line of scrimmage is integral. So I had friends text me, did he deserve that amount? I'm like, it's not that amount of money. It's like $11.9 million new of guaranteed money. That's probably for 2 or 3 years. So it's nothing gigantic, and he's still young and probably still improving. So totally made sense to me.
Cosmetically, do you ever kind of play the mental game of trying to imagine exactly what this looks like functionally if you are going to become more of a bruising or self-assertive running team? Because, I mean, in the end, ultimately, if you're going to play with a couple more tight ends, we still have Justin Jefferson, we still have Addison on the other side. It seems, cosmetically, I think some people are kind of thinking that there is truly a fundamental change to this offense. I don't necessarily see it that way, but just kind of appreciating a more heavy focus on running the ball.
I hope. I mean, the question is, do I envision it? Do I allow? Yeah, I do all the time, because I believe it's absolutely necessary if this team is going to do what it hasn't done under Kevin O'Connell in 3 seasons, which is win a playoff game. I mean, I allow myself to, do I when I envision an improved run game, see a world in which it is all these creative run game designs? Probably not. Hopefully, I mean, maybe that'd be nice, but if it's just, improved push from the line of scrimmage and your running duo, which is this vertical smash mouth run, and you get 5 or 6 yards a carry against these 2 high safety shells, that's really that's what it has to be. So, I mean, again, like I said the last segment, you can't see a ton and glean a ton from the trenches in these practices, but come training camp, I mean, while we all watch JJ, the second thing that my eyes will go to is, what does this interior offensive line look like, and how much are they practicing the run? Because more than anything, part of me just believes that they've spent so much mental energy on the pass game. Understandably, they've been great at it. You got Justin Jefferson, but until they allocate the mental energy on the run game that it deserves, I'm not sure if it's ever going to be where we all want it to be.
Josh Metellus, he was talking to the media yesterday. Actually, I saw a video on Vikings.com. You were kind of lurking in the background there.
I was there.
You were just soaking it in.
Yeah.
Sunglasses were off, by the way.
Sunglasses off.
Important thing to mention.
Just so Josh could see me.
See and recognize.
Right, exactly.
And part of that recognition would be when the time comes and he's talked to again about the new contract, he'll know who he's talking to. So
100%.
At this stage, it's twofold. I feel like he's a guy that's needed here. And I kind of went down the road. That's why I was thinking about safety in the draft, and just you look at the future of Hitman and all of that. He's a guy that's needed. And it's also early June, so I'm not really concerned at all. So where's your head at on the contract status of Metellus entering his final year?
Yeah, I mean, he's been out at these practices. He's not necessarily participating at the 100% level. There's a lot of snaps where he's kind of on the sideline and Jay Ward's roaming around, looking pretty good, actually.
Really good.
I will say. Jay Ward is kind of in these reps occupied that Metellus role. He looks a little bigger, and he looks.
He does.
He does. And
specifically in the upper body, are you saying?
The shoulders. But he made a play on the ball yesterday that caught my eye. But to Metellus specifically, I'm not going to make a big deal about him not participating 100% in June reps, knowing that he, as well as anybody, knows this defense, and you just said it, is as integral a piece as he is. I mean, we call him a safety, but he's not. He's really a quasi linebacker. He plays as a slot defender. He lines up on the edge. And that's probably if you guys listen to this are asking, well, then why hasn't he been extended? I mean, it's not as simple as Cam Bynum, who's just a deep half safety. The comps for that type of player at that age are pretty explicit. Metellus is he is a unique. I don't use the word unique because it literally means one, and I hear it all the time, and it's just not. I don't like the word. But Josh Metellus is a unique player. He lines up where so as Drew Rosenhaus, his agent, and as the Vikings front office are exchanging monetary values, it's probably an interesting conversation. Well, we see him as this. Well, we believe this money makes sense because he's this, and that probably necessitates some back and forth and some conversation, but I've said it plenty of times. Drew Rosenhaus and the Vikings have a great relationship. Drew inked the extension of Andrew Van Ginkel about a month ago. Drew did the extension for Christian Darrisaw last year. Drew did the signing of Javon Hargrave. He did the signings of Jonathan Grenard and Van Ginkel in the first place. Not Blake Cashman, but a lot of guys. So if come training camp, Josh Metellus isn't on the field, or we don't see him at all, or he has a big earache or something that we need to monitor every day, like TJ Hawkinson did, then it's probably worth more conversation. Until then, I'm not going to make a big deal out of it because he wants to be here. He's made that abundantly clear, and his role in Flores' system is known by everyone who watches his team.
That's Alec Lewis. We're going to pause one more time when we come back. A few more questions on Vikings minicamp as mandatory minicamp unfolds day 2 later today, the finale tomorrow. Alec Lewis of The Athletic in studio with me, Nordo, another segment around.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
There's a moment every parent remembers. The day their child takes off on 2 wheels. With Guardian Bikes, that moment comes as early as 2 years old, and with less stress and frustration. These bikes are built just for kids. Lightweight frames, low center of gravity, easy-to-use brakes. Everything about Guardian is designed to help kids ride confidently, often in just 1 day, no training wheels needed. And because Guardian bikes are designed and assembled right here in the USA, they're built to last. With care in every detail. Their patented SureStop braking system stops both wheels with a single lever, helping your child stop safely without tripping forward or losing control. Right now, save hundreds when comparing Guardian to its competitors at GuardianBikes.com and get a free lock and pump when you join their newsletter, a $50 value. Visit GuardianBikes.com today to save and help your child learn an essential life skill safely. Guardian Bikes, built for your kid and for the memories you'll never forget.
Corner next. Next segment, Institute for Athletes. Blake Baratz is going to be in studio. Some big changes. There was a massive financial settlement. You're going to have schools with effective salary caps. How does that impact the boosters and the NIL collectives and all of that? Impact his work. We get to feel a vibe from the agents side of things. Looking forward to that. Dan Hayes of The Athletic, a colleague of yours, different sport but same family.
Disco Dan.
Disco Dan's going to be on the hotline at 11. We'll chat about the Twins. They got absolutely smoked yesterday in the opener against the Rangers. I was looking at my own post from this morning, in for PA, 9 to noon, and got mini camp, and it's Alec, and it's Blake, and it's Dan. And then I always kind of write, like heavy on Vikings camp, money in college sports, baseball team smacked by Texas, and more. For some reason, it was in all caps, what's the more part? And I started thinking that's actually it. There is no more. It's heavy on the Vikings. It is money in college sports, and it is the baseball team getting smacked by Texas. So I apologize to all of those. I misled you. There is no more.
When you talk to Dan Hayes, ask him about one thing for me. What he thinks about what Aaron Judge is doing.
Okay, I will.
People aren't talking about nationally Aaron Judge because maybe it's baseball. The guy is hitting almost 400, 65 games in the season against the hardest era to ever hit baseball, in the hardest era to ever hit baseballs.
Yeah.
The guy is doing it is like unbelievable. Anyway, I can't get out of my head like what this guy's doing because I covered the sport. I know how hard it is to hit, and I mean it's unfathomable to me.
Yeah,
so ask him about it.
Hit like a 470-footer last night
in Kansas City. I've never seen a ball go up there. It's really, I don't know if like the average person realizes he's like on.
I think he's hitting almost 400 right now too.
Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, like Ted Williams level, and it sounds crazy to say. Anyway, we'll talk Vikings.
Well, probably. I just want to let you know though, this is important. First of all, they are talking about it nationally because it's the Yankees. Now you happen to be in a market that's not interested in a lot of it, and you know what? I'm going to bring it up and we're going to talk about it. But and by the way, he is otherworldly right now, so there's no denying that. It's tough to get a lot of people excited about the pinstripes in this particular market. Okay,
I get it, and yeah, the New York teams get enough talk.
I'll spend a segment. I'm going to do Aaron Judge. I'm going to do LeBron opting in.
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
Golden State Warriors.
I'll find a way to bring up the Cowboys. I mean, there's got to be something.
No, but like, just as and I don't care about the game. Just as like a sports fan,
totally know what you mean.
I mean, it's kind of no. I know it's probably.
How many MVPs will Ohtani have? Your calls, 800-320-5326. Text line 64686.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, but he's incredible. He truly is. But I'm going to bring that up with him.
Yeah, ask him about it.
And it's important in the context of the baseball team right now. Middling in the AL Central, 7 or so back from the Tigers, and the lot in the life of the baseball team. Dallas Turner, you wrote a piece on him.
Yeah.
Entering the second year, it sounds like at some point this offseason, hooked up with it. Is it Javon Gopi? Gopi, excuse me.
Like a guppy, but Gopi.
So what does that mean in terms of his trajectory? We mentioned it briefly with Flores and the optimism there. Maybe snaps are down 300 and change his rookie year because of what was in front of him, a couple of high-end seasons from Grenard and Van Ginkel, but also what's that rookie? What is that trajectory? What should be expected for a guy the Vikings? They paid a fair amount in currency to move up and get.
Yeah, I mean, the story was essentially, I talked to his longtime trainer. He's worked with him for years, and after the season, like a few weeks after the season ended, Dallas Turner was back in Florida where he's from and already reaching out to the trainer like, can we get on the field? And like that's the time where guys are in Cancun or on the beach, and the trainer really had to tell Dallas like, we were not going to go yet. That would be ridiculous. And then when they first linked up, one of the first conversations they had was about Nick Benito. And Nick Benito, for those who don't know, is an edge rusher for the Denver Broncos. He had 13.5 sacks this past year. He was like all pro caliber, Pro Bowl caliber, second round pick out of Oklahoma. Very slow start to his career, and then just went nuts. Nick Benito played at St. Thomas Aquinas, the same high school that Dallas Turner did. And so Javon Gopi, Dallas Turner's trainer, was like, what did seeing what Nick did mean to you? And Dallas was like, you have no idea. Because essentially, it confirmed to Dallas that he's worked out with Nick Benito. It confirmed to him that he's capable of producing at a level that is that type of caliber. And Dallas Turner's trainer who's worked with a ton of guys. It's like, I see Dallas as a double-digit guy. And it's obviously going to come down to opportunity, which was the question last year. Now, the two aspects that are different. One, last year, Dallas Turner, you might remember, had the little knee injury week 2 against San Francisco. And then he missed that next game. And I think that kind of affected a little bit of his comfort trajectory, like the arc of what he may, being integrated as much as he maybe would have been. The other aspect is he has the ability to play off the ball, and to know how to do that and also be an edge rusher in the league, and learn Brian Flores' system at both of those spots, like that takes a lot of time. So another year steeped in it it's going to be very interesting. Brian Flores kind of mentioned yesterday there are probably a lot of packages that could be possible. So I can't wait to see how they try to deploy him, because, the off-the-ball stuff is, for a guy who's 6'3", 250 pounds, to have the kind of ball skills that he showed even yesterday out on the practice field, it's pretty rare stuff. It really is.
2 days left of minicamp here. What excites you? What are you keen in on over these final 2 days before they kind of close the door on stuff?
Yeah, it's obviously watching JJ. How does he look on a day-to-day basis?
How does he look?
Thought he looked pretty good yesterday. There was an interception, but yeah, there's going to be interceptions because it's football. And then if you were to tell me, well, he didn't throw a pick in week 1 because of what he learned from the pick he threw in June, that's positive. I don't know what that was. We got monitors falling down in here. But JJ for sure. And then after that, it's just some of the lesser known guys. Like, one of the players who has really stood out to me over the last few weeks is this undrafted corner from Utah, Zamaya Vaughn.
Yeah.
6'2", 180 pounds. He's been around the ball all the time, and he's very athletic and he's very fluid. He's only played corner for like 4 years. He was a quarterback in high school in Texas and somehow ended up at Utah playing corner. Hard to understand, but certain guys like that who have stood out to me, that's kind of who I'm monitoring and watching.
Well, I appreciate you bringing yourself and the intel in today.
Yeah, no problem.
Enjoy Jersey Mike's. I don't know what you broke over there. We'll figure that out during the break.
I was moving moving the feet around. I don't know.
Okay, well, key card's about to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
So just
Chad
hope
Abbott
you enjoyed
on line
that.
1. Yep.
But we'll keep following you, man. I appreciate you doing this. We'll chat next week, all right?
Thanks for doing it. Enjoy the conversation with Blake. You'll get into the nitty gritty of this college football world. So.
Well, I gotta end this segment so I can go get him in the lobby. That's Alec Lewis of The Athletic. Alec_Lewis via X. Read his work at theathletic.com. And you heard it, Blake Baratz, Institute for Athletes, in studio next.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, how to get 30, how to get 20, 20, 20, how to get 20, 20, how to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you. Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh. But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
There's a moment every parent remembers. The day their child takes off on 2 wheels. With Guardian Bikes, that moment comes as early as 2 years old, and with less stress and frustration. These bikes are built just for kids. Lightweight frames, low center of gravity, easy-to-use brakes. Everything about Guardian is designed to help kids ride confidently, often in just one day, no training wheels needed. And because Guardian bikes are designed and assembled right here in the USA, you know they're built to last. With care in every detail. Their patented SureStop braking system stops both wheels with a single lever, helping your child stop safely without tripping forward or losing control. Right now, save hundreds when comparing Guardian to its competitors at GuardianBikes.com and get a free lock and pump when you join their newsletter, a $50 value. Visit GuardianBikes.com today to save and help your child learn an essential life skill safely. Guardian Bikes, built for your kid and for the memories you'll never forget.
If you want to chime in what's happening in your favorite KFAN shows, you can make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Just let us know what you say by texting your message to 64686. That is 64686. Standard text message and data rates apply.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. Nordo in for PA. Joining me now, you can follow him on X at Blake Baratz, Baratz, via X. Institute for Athletes. That's his company. From a representation standpoint, a career building standpoint, there's a lot going on at IFA. But I do want to start here with minicamp underway. Blake, I can't wait to see Jonathan Allen in purple. I can't wait to see him on the field with this team. I was playing audio earlier on, how pumped he is to be here. As a Vikings fan, I've been begging and pleading for them to find a way to come in waves from the defensive interior. Jonathan Allen in Minnesota, this is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm as a fan, as a friend, as a agent, I'm just really excited for him to be here because it's a great fit. You got a great human being. You got a really good football player. They have a really good locker room. Just being really in tune with the Vikings and what their needs were. It's exciting. They got a really good thing going here. I'm really excited to see what happens. But yeah, everyone's really excited. He loves it. Wife is excited. I think everyone's just ready to get to September.
Oh, absolutely. And it does indeed seem like a perfect fit. So I had to get that out of the way to start. Because I'm going to start asking you questions, Blake, and I'm going to need your expertise and intel on this because I don't understand some of it, and that's why you're here to help.
I'll do my best. I don't understand a lot either, but I'll try.
So at the end of last week, there has been, and it sounds like this was the combination of maybe a few different lawsuits that were taking place, the House versus the NCAA. And there was a settlement that took place that over the next 10 years, there's $2.8 billion in back pay. So now we're talking about athletes that were in the mix, I think maybe going back as far as like 2016, 2017. So that takes place on Friday. Now, as part of this deal over the next decade, schools can pay their athletes. And I believe the number is as soon as maybe, is it like July 1st or something like that?
Correct.
$20.5 million. So effectively, schools now have a salary cap. What does that mean in your world? It's kind of crazy still trying to wrap my head around it. The idea schools can now directly pay athletes.
Yeah, I mean, I think in our space and certainly on the school and athletic department space, we've been anticipating this coming for a while. Now, we were just waiting on the judge to actually sign off on the settlement. They had the framework of it done, but you never know if the judge didn't want to sign off on it. Right. He or she didn't have to. But what it ultimately means is the judge now said that based on the settlement, that there's going to be back pay for the student athletes that they're determining were owed some money for not being able to take advantage of their name, image, and likeness. And that was a combination of a ton of different lawsuits there were hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And now the judge basically said, moving forward, the student athletes have to participate in the revenue share. And whether that's the CBS deals, whether that's the ESPN deals, whether that's the Big Ten Conference Network deals, and each school can spend up to $20.5 million to pay their student athletes. Every school can determine how they want to spend it. You want to spend it on men's hockey, you can. You want to spend it on women's volleyball, you can. You want to spend it on football, you can. And each school in the Power Four, at least, is going to spend somewhere between $13.5 and $15 million of that rev share, whatever that percentage allocates to, whether it's 75% or 77% or 80%, to pay their student athletes. Where it's going to get interesting, and that number is going to go up as the revenue dollars go up.
Yeah, so year by year, right?
Year by year. Where it gets really interesting is also part of the settlement is every deal, independent of the rev share dollars, that's over $600 is supposed to go through a third-party clearinghouse, Deloitte, which is an international consulting firm. And that's where I think it's really going to get dicey because every $1,000 deal, $10,000 deal, $80,000 deal, you're asking a third party that really don't have an experience in the space, let alone the bandwidth, to be ciphering through tens of thousands of deals simultaneously to get back to the school or the agent or whoever it may be to determine whether that's fair market value or not. And I personally believe that's just going to insinuate a ton of other lawsuits. And I think this deal is better than the previous, but I don't think this is the end. I think
not
this
a
is
finished product.
I don't think so. I think it's a bridge to where it ultimately will get to.
So I do want to provide clarity. Anytime we've talked about NIL on our station, I always see it. It's, XYZ school, let's take the U of M, for instance. They have a $5, $7, $8, $9 billion endowment. Why can't they get better players? And I understand this, and most people even listening to 9 to Noon, I think, do too. Not understanding that there's been a separation between the institutions themselves and whether it be boosters or NIL collectives. Dinkytown Athletics would be a great example. That's part of this landmark change is that up until now, you would have to get your money and those, endorsements and things through the collective versus the school themselves. And so where my head is at is, you have the $20.5 million. That doesn't necessarily negate these collectives, but it sounds like you're saying that it makes those collectives and some of those deals a little more murky or difficult to close on. I
think depending on who you ask, you may get a different answer. I don't think the collectives are going away, but I also don't know. No one knows today how this third-party clearinghouse is actually going to enforce the rules. I don't see it being practical for every deal that's over $600 to go through this third-party clearinghouse and get an active response that makes sense. I don't know how they determine between Nike and the automobile dealership in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I don't know how they determine fair market value, and I think that's why they're going to get a lot of lawsuits, because fair market value to a lot of people is what someone's willing to pay. You put your house on the market, you don't have to agree it's worth it, but if someone pays for it, then that's the value of the home.
Yeah.
What I think they're trying to avoid, I know, what they're trying to avoid is the big booster coming in with $3 million and saying, hey, offensive guard, 5-star, that has 200 followers on Instagram, we're going to give you $2 million a year, and you're going to do 6 social posts. Because that's just a workaround to pay for play. And the whole, we're jumping through hoops in this whole song and dance, when reality is, it's all pay for play. It always was.
Yep.
It always is. They're not paying guys traditionally based on their name, image, and likeness. They're paying guys to go play football at Alabama or basketball at Ohio State or softball at Texas Tech or whatever it is. That's just the reality. We keep jumping through these hoops, but the reality is they're generating so many dollars that did not trickle down to the student athletes. And then the sports that are actually generating a profit are supporting the whole athletic department. The football team and the basketball team, in a lot of places, the basketball team is not even making money. So the football team is supporting men's tennis, swimming, gymnastics, band. I played a non-revenue sport in college. It's great, but I also didn't have 100,000 people showing up to watch me play. They weren't selling my jerseys in the locker room.
Maybe they should have.
Maybe they should have.
I don't know how good you were, but maybe.
I was an average competitor.
Okay. So you're telling me that any deal, it's XYZ, a high-end D lineman for the Gophers, if they're repping a coffee shop in town, that's something that would have to go through Deloitte.
Yeah, if it's over $600. I mean, we're doing tens of thousands of dollars of deals a week. I don't even know how this is going to work because these are legitimate deals and these are legitimate partnerships. These aren't even collective related. And I don't know if it's practical for us to send it to the school, send it to Deloitte, and then waiting. I don't know how long it's going to take. Might be 10 days to get back to us. Might be 3 months. We can't risk a player losing a $25,000 deal because we waited 90 days for Deloitte, who knows nothing about the market and nothing about the player. So I don't know. I think that's the big unknown. And every school I talk to has a different response of how it's going to go. And until we get into September and October, November, December, I don't know if anyone knows. But it is a different landscape. There are going to be a finite number of dollars, and I'm sure there's going to be schools that are willing to push the envelope, and I'm sure there's going to be schools that aren't. And I'm sure that they've thought of every legal parameter to try to get around the clearinghouse, but there's still an unknown. And every dollar that's paid out from the rev share, there's a finite number of dollars. So you want to give a guy $5 million a year, you spend 30% of your cap or 33% of your cap. And it's the NFL model with, I guess, less guardrails and no collectively bargained for agreement. And so it'll be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, let's look at the school side. So are you potentially, are schools prepared for this? Because now here's what I'm picturing. So Belichick gets hired in North Carolina, and he brings Michael Lombardi down there. That's kind of his, he's basically a GM for the Tar Heels program. And I don't know exactly what his responsibilities will be, but I use that as an example because that's what I'm kind of picturing now, where if PJ Fleck or any coach in college football is in somebody's living room, do they got to have a money man with them? And does the player have to have a Blake Baratz with them?
I think.
And how quickly that conversation almost overtakes just loving a kid's film and trying to get them in their colors.
I think the answer is yes and yes. And I think some schools were very far out in front of it and had processes in place and hired a scouting department and hired an ex-general manager, salary cap expert. So yes, I think that's critical, especially as you go into a system where there's a finite number of dollars.
Right.
If you had unlimited pockets before, I'm not going to say it didn't matter, but in some way, shape, or form, if the player didn't pan out, it didn't matter. You go find another one, or you got a backup. You're paying another 5-star. And now that's not going to be the case with roster limits and a finite number of dollars to spend. And the big issue is you're asking athletic departments that may have been making a few bucks, maybe breaking even, maybe losing a few dollars to now come up with, how do I generate an extra $20.5 million? Because we didn't have that on our books before.
Right.
So we either got to cut expenses, we got to cut sports, we got to cut expenses, or we got to figure out creative ways to generate more revenue. You can, and they're already depleted from a staffing standpoint. So if you're a head coach saying, well, wow, I need a general manager, I need a salary cap expert, we need better nutrition, we need better medical staff, whatever the case may be, so we can make more poignant decisions on our football roster, they're probably turning back and saying, well, we don't have any money for it. We got to find extra money.
So with this, Blake Baratz, Institute for Athletes, in studio with me, Nordo, who's in for PA, vocal maintenance day. How does this impact potentially, if I'm a school, and you're a 5-star, I'm going to give you $3 million, and whatever, fictional numbers from my standpoint. Can I then say, but you got to play for me for 3 years? Does this create a contract situation where you're sitting down with the player, I'm the coach sitting down with my money guy, and it's like, I'm happy to give you this money, I believe in you, but I'm not playing this freaking portal game 9 months from now where should I stay, should I go, and I gotta actually coddle you in the off season here. Like if I'm going to give you $3 million, are we creating potential contracts to mitigate portal jumps?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think that's where it's going. I've talked to GMs of colleges that are saying, we're not going to pay a high school kid anymore. We're only going to spend money on guys that have already proven they can play at this level. Because we can go find a corner. We can go find a D tackle. We can go find someone that's already played in the Power Four, that's already a proven commodity, versus having to pay a high school kid that is unproven. Then we got to develop them. Then we got to hope that they stay. Like, that's not an easy proposition. So to your point, yes, multi-year contracts are an avenue to get around that. And if it's done properly, just like an NFL contract, it can protect both sides. Everything's a give and take, but yeah, 100%.
How much busier are you throughout all this?
It's infinitely busier. It was really, really busy last September, October, November, December, because there's a little more guardrails now, but like half the schools didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how they were going to allocate dollars. Every school was operating completely differently. It was really difficult to understand the marketplace unless you were having conversations with 60, 70 Power Four schools to determine it. And there's no union. There's no like transparency. Half the things you read on social media is just misinformation. And I don't think there's that many people out there that can actually do the job properly, because you have to have experience in the space, which we do at the highest NFL level. And then you have to have the relationships at all the schools to know that you're speaking transparently to get the real information.
So how have you had to adapt? And I'm just thinking, I mean, 10,000 foot view level in the 11 and a half years or so that I've been with PA, I've known of you and known you for most of that time. And I'm just trying to think back a decade ago to now, and you could speak to this in a different conversation of how much your own business has changed. How have you had to adapt resource wise? You know, are you approaching different kinds of athletes? Are we dipping into young? Like, how has your business and your existence changed as you've had to meet this demand?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly over the last 12 to 18 months, it's certainly gone further downstream. Like it's without a shadow of a doubt, it's going younger. But and we've had to dedicate more staff time, more cost, keep hiring.
Yeah.
Because we don't ever want to lose that personal attention, boutique, family office type of feel. So we've been very kind of stringent on, we're not going to just throw a fishing pole out there and reel in whoever we can reel. It's got to be calculated. It's got to be a referral from someone. It's got to be the right character guys. And that's what we've stuck to. Now, from a conceptual standpoint, what we're doing for our NFL players and what we're doing for our freshmen at Alabama or 5-star high school kid conceptually is the same process. It's educating, it's empowering, it's understanding what are your priorities. Like, how are you prioritizing playing early in college?
Yeah.
How are you setting up your visits? How do you know what scheme you're looking at? You know, do you want to play in the Big Ten? Do you want to be close to home? Does weather matter? Does academics matter? Does compensation matter? Because right now they have no concept or idea of how to get to a decision. Not that dissimilar to a free agent in the NFL. They just have more parameters and they have more experience and they know what they like and don't like. And they know, we're talking about 16, 17-year-olds now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're working with Caden Finley, Jermichael Finley's son, who's one of the top receivers in the country. And his dad played at the highest level and been through all this before and still just helping him prioritize. Because he's got every Power 4 school hitting him up. You're our guy. You're our guy. You're our guy. He's been offered by everybody. Just helping them navigate that process is really what we're there for. Yes, the compensation is going to be a part of it, but I've never told a kid to chase the money. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't think the grass is greener on the other side, because you're not putting any value in all those other things that we just talked about. So talking through that with the players and with the players' family is where we're most valuable, because most players, like our quarterback at Alabama or Koi Parrish, like, they're really marketable in college, right? But not every guy is from a traditional marketing standpoint. So we have to get creative on how to market them, because a right guard at Arkansas that has 1,000 followers on social media isn't marketable to Gatorade. They think they are because they hear name, image, and likeness, and they're getting 6-figure checks from the school. So in some ways that misinformation or calling it something that it's not is enabling some of that lack of education, when in reality, they should be saying, listen, we're going to call it this, but just know you're getting paid to play right guard at Arkansas. Historically, they haven't been able to say that because you weren't allowed to pay for play. So it's like the tampering thing. It's like, what are we doing here?
The parents have to be an interesting dynamic in this too, right? I mean, in some ways, and ultimately it's all about what's best for the athlete. But I picture the scenarios where those visions, whether it's the kid on the couch and mom and dad, those visions are very different.
100%.
And now this is that's where, for me, and I think, change is tough on a lot of people. I'm not against change, but you try to find your way through it, and you're on the fly with this thing. A lot of people are. But I'm just picturing the 13-year-old, the 14-year-old that still has a ton of growing to do. I picture mom and dad who love said kid, but they see that opportunity and how those pathways and how those conversations can be. The dynamic in those situations has to be unbelievable.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard under the current system. It was hard under the previous system because if you don't have whoever's in that young man's inner circle, I don't care if they're 21 years old or 17 years old. If everybody's not on the same page and has the right agenda or someone has an ulterior motive, it's bound to fail or not work in some capacity. And that's part of what our vetting process is like, I've been doing this long enough to like look everyone in the eye and be able to, it's a tell. Like I've been able to vet it long enough. I know like the questions you're asking don't make sense or your reaction to something doesn't make sense. And I can peep it out pretty quickly. Sometimes it's mom's fault. Sometimes it's dad's fault. Sometimes it's kid's fault. But the situations that work the best are we're like, this is all for your son. Whatever's in your son's best interest is what all of our conversations should gear towards. And you can tell right away which people are kind of leaning a different direction, which those people really aren't the right fit for us anyway. Yeah. Or you got to call it out early and let the kid grow up and make a decision. But yeah, it exists all the time. I don't care if you're in the NFL or college. It's just starting younger, but the same conceptual problems can exist.
Dude, it's the Wild West, it feels like, man. I really appreciate you summing up some of that for me this morning. Institute for Athletes, it's Blake Baratz. You can follow him at Blake Baratz, Baratz. It's good to see you, man.
It's great to see you, man. It's been longer than I had anticipated.
Absolutely. Let's do it again soon. Thanks for joining me. We're going to pause. Final hour is around the corner, starting off with Dan Hayes of The Athletic. The Twins absolutely just smacked yesterday. What's up in a post-Pablo universe? Simeon Woods Richardson, the St. Paul Shuffle. Alcala seems broken. We're going to talk with Dan about all that next. It's 9 to noon on The Fan.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
Now, you can watch the best of Hulu on Disney Plus. The hottest Hulu shows and movies right next to your Disney Plus favorites. With Hulu on Disney Plus, dive into new seasons of The Handmaid's Tale, 9 Perfect Strangers, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and Welcome to Wrexham. And don't miss Star Wars Andor Season 2 and Marvel's Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. All these and more, now streaming with Hulu on Disney Plus with a bundle subscription. Available with bundle plans starting at $10.99 a month. Terms apply. Visit disneyplus.com/Hulu for details.